going back to it, well, you look stupid, number one. So I called him. That what a stupid meme. That crap was proven to be a lie. So the guy responded to me with, "Did you serve?" And immediately, one of my shipmates immediately came and said, "Yeah, he served 20 years." And then I responded to that person saying, "Yeah, I served 20 years." The point is, the media created this lie, and people still believe it. And here's why I think this happens. And I'm going to ask Dennis and anybody else who's watching. I want to know what y'all think about this. It's easier to not have to think about whether or not something is true or something is false. So because it's easier. It also absolves you of responsibility.
Right.
In my opinion, it doesn't absolve you of responsibility. You have an obligation to dig deep and walk through that. I'd like to know what Dennis thinks on this.
It feels that way to them, that it absolves them from any responsibility or accountability, but it really doesn't. In
Right.
reality, is you're just sidestepping, what's there, what's really there.
Right. Meanwhile, here's a quote from Donald Trump, and this is something that really needs to be pushed. President Trump says, "Borders are not racist. Speech is not violence. America is good. Terrorists are bad. Men can never become women. Police are not criminals. And criminals are not victims." About the only thing I don't agree with in that is that police are not criminals. There are police who are criminals, but that percentage is so small that it's very difficult for me to reconcile someone saying all police are criminals, all police are this, all police are that. So this is a statement that he made, and I agree with it. The media isn't even sniffing at it.
I would add something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would add criminals are not victim. Not only are they not victims, they're not freaking heroes either.
Right. That's honestly the truth. And they're not someone that, look, I'm going to be honest with you. They are not someone who I would ever lift up onto a pedestal. All right. Here's more about what the media has done. There was a Colorado rally. This happened earlier this week. And a person at a Colorado rally was asked why they wanted to impeach Trump and Vance. And the supporter, the lady said, "Insider trading and pardoning friends." All of a sudden, yeah, okay, so here's what's hilarious about this. When it was brought up that Biden literally pardoned his family and many of his friends, she couldn't say anything.
Right.
Well, why do you think she couldn't say anything? It's because she got caught making a statement that was false, number one.
Right.
And she got caught basically being proven to be a brainless, mindless little puppet.
Wasn't it the same one they had? I think it was the same one that had a lady that they were talking to, and she said he was asking her about illegal immigrants, and she said, "I have no problem with them as long as they're here not breaking the law." And it's like the first thing. The first thing that jumped out at me was, "Lady, they're already breaking the law by being here illegally."
Right. Isn't it amazing that you get out there and the first thing that you hear is, "Well, we just don't want lawbreakers." Well, that means that you need to deport all of them.
Yeah, I was beside myself when I heard her say that. I'm like, "You got to be freaking kidding me!"
It is. It blows me away that this is what we are dealing with today. This is stuff that is so basic and so fundamentally accurate that you just can't even. I can't even fathom what I'm watching while I'm watching it. It's like I'm watching it going, "Wait, did I just hear what I thought I heard?" Here's a perfect quote. Jasmine Crockett, our good friend Jasmine. I can't stay away from her, man. She is so much fun. Her and Chuck Schumer, man, are like the greatest two. They are like the dynamic duo of idiocy. And they're in positions of authority, man.
I love AOC too, man. I got to throw her in that mix.
Oh, yeah. But this woman comes out and says Trump is trying to kill us all by making planes fall out of the sky. She says this on MSNBC. I'm just like, thank God their viewership is so small that it doesn't make a difference. But you're going to find someone out there who's going to walk up to you and go, why do you support the president? He's trying to make planes fall out of the sky. You know, and then we have to sit there and go, are you a special sort of dumb? Or are you trying to just are you dumb trying to be smart being dumb? I mean, it's this round robin of being fed information and treating that information as if it's the real deal. And that's the media right now. I got
a question for you.
Yeah. And then we got to go to a break too.
Have you seen the Sean Penn interview with Jim Acosta and Swalwell?
Oh,
you got to look that up. I was just watching that. He says the dumbest crap ever. It's hilarious.
Yeah, you know, I read some of it, and I was just like so flabbergasted that
I just watched it like a half an hour before we came on here. I was just like, Sean Penn, he looks rode hard and put away wet too.
Oh, he does.
Holy moly!
Him and Robert De Niro.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, there's no hope for those guys, man.
No, there's not. All right, we are going to play a song. When we come back, we are going to talk about some of the Doge findings. There was an interview that was on Fox with the Doge team, and I want to talk about some of the things that were brought to light in this interview, including big balls.
Wait.
All right, ready? Here we go.
All right.
In my eyes, indisposed, in disguises no one knows, hides the face, lies a snake, and the sun in my disgrace, boiling heat, summer stench, neath the black sky looks dead. Call my name through the cream, and I'll hear you scream again. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you come? Stood a rain, cold and damp, still the warm wind, tired friend. Times are gone for honest man, sometimes far too long for snakes in my shoes, walking sleep in my youth. I pray to keep heaven sent, hell away. No one seems like you anymore. Black hole star, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole star, won't you come? Won't you come? Black hole star, won't you come and wash away the rain? you all just disappear? Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Black hole sun, won't you come? Wash away the rain. Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Black hole sun, black hole sun, won't you come? Black hole sun, black hole sun, won't you come? Black hole sun, black hole sun, won't you come? Black hole sun, black hole sun, won't you
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.com.
All right. Hey, there's my Matthew McConaughey impersonation, although I could probably do it better. That was a
All right.
that's a pretty cool tune. That's a very good rendition of a Soundgarden song.
Yes,
I got a
sir.
lot of compliments. A lot of people actually posted comments saying that was a great song. So you're welcome. It just kind of caught my eye. We'll keep pushing forward. All right. I want to talk about Doge, man. All right, check this out. The Democrats spent $4 billion to rent stadiums. That's taxpayer money that was used to rent stadiums. What do you need to rent a stadium for if you're a person that is in public service? And why aren't you pulling it out of your own bank account instead of the coffers of the American people?
Good question.
It just blows me away that we're dealing with that. I can't even begin to fathom how much money has been spent in our name with none of our consent. Which, hey, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I voted these people in. They spent the money and did it in our name. I don't think they acted in good faith, and I will stand on that. That's why I believe that the easiest way to fix a lot of these problems is to vote them out. Here's the I'm sorry about that, H. Here's what drives me crazy, okay? Doge found the Treasury was spending upwards to $5 trillion. That's trillion with a T, with no budget code. Meaning that of our taxpayer money, we don't know where it went. We don't have any receipts. And I will ask anybody out there who is in a business or who is a part of a nonprofit like I am, who has to provide receipts for expenses of any kind. Because if you're spending money, that's an expense. All right. If you're spending government money, no matter what it's on, that is an expense being paid for by tax dollars.
Yep.
So I want to know where that money went. Well, here's the problem. They've been allowed to get away with this for so many years that this is commonplace. I am just blown away that they have been allowed to spend our money with Because if it was us, like when we file taxes and we have an expense, we have to show proof of that expense.
Yep.
If we're running a small business, it's a requirement.
Yep.
So where do you stand on that? And you know what? For the rest of you, where do you stand on this? This is kind of insanity that we're looking at, and it's insane. Being redundant here, but damn.
Well, that's why they audit you. You know, I mean, you get audited. They want to know where all your money went. Well, how
Right,
come
they wanna know
why can't we get the same respect from them as far as where our money's going to them?
I can tell you what I think of that, and y'all can fire off some responses and let me know what you think. But they've reached a point where they don't care anymore. Okay.
Right.
And because they've reached a point where they don't care anymore, they don't have to care anymore because they get voted back in. You keep getting voted in, you keep getting voted in, you keep getting voted in, and eventually someone's going to catch up. But how long is it going to take before you do get caught up? And if you're mismanaging this money, what other things are you mismanaging? Are you acting fraudulently? If we don't know where that money went, I would have to say they were spending it on something that I would not have been okay with. I would have reached out to my congressman and I would have told my congressman, this has got to stop, period. But because there's no checks and balances, we talk about the three branches of government. Well, the financial section should have checks and balances as well. Am I correct on that? Or am I just full of crap?
Nope, we all should.
And this is a bigger problem than we even remotely think about understanding.
Right.
I mean, when we stop and think about it, that trillion, I wasn't even talking about billions. I mean, never mind the fact I can't count that high. I think that $1 trillion, a single $1 trillion, would fill up my house all the way to the brim and have money spilling out into the front yard.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, and look, to put it into perspective, they spent that money and never even sneezed at it. I went to the house of a parent who was giving away a flagpole so that I could put a taller flagpole in my front yard with a lanyard system, with a rope system, so it's easier for me to switch my bottom flags out.
Right.
I mean, instead of spending the money that it would have cost, which would have cost quite a bit, I went and did this so that I could put a different flagpole up. And I know that is, you know, fairly trivial in the grand scheme of things, but it tends to, you know, we and those of us who've served, this ought to make you even more mad because we defended our country and they have spent our money however they want to spend our money, and there's no repercussions for it.
Right.
And it's just
not yet.
It's just
hopefully we'll see something come about that for as far as repercussions go.
Well, yeah. I mean, meanwhile, for those of you who don't know, Trump still is not taking a salary. He's taking his salary each quarter and donating it to something that is going to help benefit the country. He also recently announced that he is going to privately fund a brand new ballroom in the White House. So, and he's going to fund it with his own money and through donations. So he's not using taxpayer money to improve the people's house, the White House, where the president lives and where all of these events happen. So once again, this is a guy who is being a patriot, and he's ridiculed and attacked, and it goes on and on and on. All right, the next song is a song by Dustin Garner. It is called Brothers in Arms. We'll be right back. When we get back, we are going to discuss radical Islam, and I'm going to cover a couple of little things about radical Islam and about Islam and how it is in our government right now and what it looks like and a couple of facts that most people don't know.
On the front lines we stand, side by side, with courage and strength that we won't let slide. Through the chaos, our hearts beat as one. Each brother's a soldier, into battle we run. When the shots ring out, we won't back down. In the silence of loss, we'll wear our crown. We are soldiers, brothers in arms. Through fire and fury, we weather the storms. In unity, forged through the blood that we shed. Together we stand, living for the dead. Each step we take, through the mud and the pain, memories linger like the echoes of rain. We fight for the fallen, our spirit won't break. In honor we carry their names in our wake. Though the cost is high, our bonds grow tight. In the darkest of hours we'll shine our light. We are soldiers, brothers in arms. Through fire and fury we weather the storms. In unity, forged through the blood that we've shed. Together we stand, living for the day. With every heartbeat, we carry their name. In the brotherhood force, we'll never be the same.
Hey, I forgot the bumper. All right, we're on. I forgot the bumper. I apologize. I was looking at something else. All right. Radical Islam. Here's the issue with radical Islam. Radical Islam calls for the eradication of non-believers. That's anybody who doesn't believe in Islam, and that's the first issue. The second issue is up until 1990, Muslims were not allowed to serve in office, primarily because they are beholden to the Quran and to Islam above and beyond any and all others, which means they can't serve because it is counterintuitive to their religious belief. The bill that it's called the McCarran-Warner Act, which basically banned Muslims from holding office. It was repealed very quietly, probably in the middle of the night, because that's how Democrats like to do things. The people who signed it were both Republicans and Democrats. Dick Cheney, John McCain, Joe Biden, Al Gore, John Kerry, Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi.
Sounds about right.
Here's what we're finding. Here are the consequences of this. The consequences of this is people like Ilhan Omar, who have publicly put their allegiances into the countries they came from. And I'm sure this is going to turn some people off, but if you are in a public office, you have sworn an allegiance to the United States, and then you very publicly go out because it's your home country of Somalia. Look, go back to Somalia. If you're not true to your oath of office, and we've talked about the oath of office numerous times, but if you're not true to your oath of office, you need to step down, or Congress needs to grow a few pairs and remove you.
I'd like to take a second and tell Ilhan Omar to fork off, to go fork herself.
Hey,
thank you.
We're not supposed to name call, right?
Thank you. That's all I needed. That's all I had to say. Thank you for your time.
Oh, man. Hey, and for those of you who served and who are still serving, thank you for your service. And thank you for the things that you did. Of course, that's, yeah.
And thank you, Mark.
Thank you for your support. That's the name of the game. But back to this. There's a video that popped up on Instagram, and they actually block it out because it is that sensitive, and it's I won't share it, but it is a group of Islamic men who are beating a woman. They're caning a woman on the street, and it turns into this gang-like event where young boys are committing assault, and this is all based around the premise of Sharia law. Well, here's the news flash about Sharia law. Sharia law is in no way, shape, or form compatible with the laws and the values of the United States of America. It's just not. And I'll take that one step further. If that is where people's allegiances is, they can go back to where they came from.
I can give you a couple other examples of what they do without getting too graphic.
Go ahead.
Adulterer women, they will bury you with your head sticking out of the ground and stone you. They will lock you in a box in a hot desert and give you very little food.
Right.
The rape thing, they'll do it right out in public. Actually, it'll be a gang rape, and there'll be probably 10 of them.
Yeah, and they are able to get away with it because they dehumanize women to the point where women do not have an identity, and they'll stand there and scream to tell everybody, "Oh no, we exalt our women." Well, my question is, if you exalt your women, why do you cover them from head to toe?
Right.
If you lift your women up, then why is it that they have to wear the clothing that they have to wear? And for those people who say, "Well, that's their religion," that is not the way the Arab nations used to be in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
So don't give me that. And once again, don't take my word for this either. Do your own research. Dennis and I have done the research. The reason we are able to talk about this stuff is because we have done the research. We're working hard as we can to make sure that we're being as factual as we can. None of what we're telling people is made up. What we're telling people is uncomfortable. There's a difference between made up and uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Uncomfortable means I don't want to hear it because it makes me feel a little weird, right? Well, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of things that go on in this world that should make people feel uncomfortable, and the only way you can stop feeling uncomfortable is to confront it or to make it better. Mm-hmm. Well, if this is a religion that is, quite frankly, incompatible with American values, then maybe it needs to have maybe we need to go back to that. It's not racist and it's not anti. It's just that you say an oath that you have no intentions of honoring.
Well, and I want to touch on that just for a second. You were saying that the Muslims weren't able to hold a position in office. Well, and that's fine. But you can't. I don't feel comfortable with them taking an oath on anything other than the Holy Bible.
Right.
I don't think doing it on a Quran that's not doing anything for me. That's not telling me that you're willing to give your 100% of your life for this country.
Right. And here's what this act was. It was the McCarran Internal Security Act. Its intent was to make sure that communism didn't gain a foothold in the United States. That was its entire premise.
Right.
The fact that he included people of Islamic faith into that is because the people of Islamic faith tend to lean towards a very communal type society, or communal what am I looking for?
I know what you're saying.
Much more socialistic in their approach. So let's kind of throw that out there and run that. So, and do I agree with everything that was in this bill? No, I don't. And I'm not saying that you cannot be an Islamic person and be a patriot. I believe you absolutely can do both. I just understand why this act was pushed through. I also understand why it was shot down. The balance that we have here, and the balance we need to have here, is there's radicalized Christian individuals also who should be clipped. Yeah. And I don't mean clipped by killing. I mean clipped as in removed or squashed.
Right.
They do not have a place in our society. Our society is supposed to be a society where people can come together. Well, you can't come together when certain behaviors are completely normal for a certain group of people, and they're unwilling to change their behaviors. That's the problem that we've got right now. Is this is how we're fighting. This is what we're fighting. It's not intended to be nice. It's just the reality of what we're looking at.
Any human can have good moral compass. I don't care what color you are, what religion you are. That has nothing to do with anything. If you either have a good moral compass and you're raised that to have that, or you do not.
Right. So to kind of wrap this up, Sharia law has no place in the United States, and a person who is of Islamic faith should be absolutely allowed to serve as long as they are true to their oath of office. The minute that they start showing that they're not going to be true to their oath of office, Ilhan Omar, they need to either be removed or stepped down. It's one or the other.
And Jayapal too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Goodness gracious. Hey, the list of the people that are on there that are not true to their oath is long, and they're not just Muslims.
Nope.
There's plenty of people who believe in God and consider themselves Christian that are not true to their oath. My personal opinion about that is, if you're not true to your oath, you should go.
You mentioned a few of them on that list of people that signed. A couple of them Republicans on there too. Yeah, they all need to go.
Okay,
that chunk of people you named is a huge reason why Washington is so screwed up.
That's exactly right. I mean, it is exactly right. Okay, we are going into our last segment. I am going to play another song. I think what I want to play is let me see here. It's a song called Never Been to Spain. It is a cover song. So here we go.
Well, I've never been to Spain, but I kinda like the music. See, the ladies are insane there, and they sure know how to use it. They don't abuse it, never gonna lose it. I can't refuse it. Well, I've never been to England, but I kinda like the Beatles. Ooh, I headed for Las Vegas, only made it out to Needles. Can you feel it? Must be near it. Feels so good, feels so good. Well, I've never been to heaven, but I've been to Oklahoma. Oh, they tell me I was born there, but I really don't remember. In Oklahoma, not Arizona. What does it matter? What does it matter? Well, I've never been to Spain, but I kinda like the music. Say the ladies are insane there, and they sure know how to use it. They don't abuse it, never gonna lose it. I can't refuse it. They don't abuse it, never gonna lose it. I can't refuse it.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.com.
All right, guys, we're into the final segment, and we're going to get right on into this. Illegal aliens. There is a civil rights attorney. He's a Democrat strategist. His name is Robert Patillo. He says our rights aren't just for Americans, they're for everyone, even illegal aliens. Okay, no, they're not. You break the law by coming into our country, you do not have the same rights. You do not get due process. He's giving his reason for why Kilmar Abrego Garcia should be allowed back in the United States. Because, hey, all of the rights belong to all of the people in the United States. Never mind the fact that these people are criminals, that this has been proven and documented that these people are criminals. So this is really pushing around due process. That terminology, that is, by the way, Dennis will tell you this is the new catchphrase. It's due process, people. It's we all deserve due process. Dennis, I want to see what you have to say, and then I'm going to talk about due process as it pertains to gaining citizenship. Take it away, my friend.
Well, basically, in a nutshell, you didn't come in here going through any kind of process, so I don't see why you would need any to leave.
Let me ask you a question before I go into how long it actually takes for a person to from beginning to citizenship.
Sure.
If I were to, just for the sake of arguments, you leave your front door unlocked,
Mhm.
kind of like the border was wide ass open for 4 years.
Right.
What would you do if I were to come into your house, start eating your food, drink your milk? How would you react?
My milk is very sacred, so I would be very, very upset. I would ask you who the hell you are, why are you here, and then kick your ass right out the door. And I probably wouldn't even ask you, I wouldn't even ask you that many questions. I'd probably just tell you you're not supposed to be here. Get the F out.
Well, wait a minute. What about due process?
No. You didn't knock and or ring the doorbell. You just came in.
So that's the problem.
So that's a huge problem, yeah. That's my house rules.
So I could have sworn that those rules are pretty similar as it relates to the nation too, right?
They are very, very close, yes.
Okay, and when we talk about due process, well, let's talk about due process. Here are the requirements for citizenship to the United States. You have to be eligible for naturalization. You have to know how to fill out a Form N-400 to apply for naturalization. You have to know what to do before you take the oath of citizenship. This can take anywhere from, what's it say here, 8 to 48 months. It actually takes more like 10 years. So while you are here on a visa to go towards naturalization, that takes up to 5 years. That way you're assimilating, or you're supposed to be assimilating into the pre-existing society and societal norms.
But I think they're looking at, like, if they give you a visa, if you're granted a visa and you carry that visa with you for 5 years, let's say, and you've got a spotless record, no criminal record, then I would say the chances of you getting expedited to the front of the line are probably a lot better than if you come in like, what's the guy's name that was starting all these riots at Columbia?
Yeah, that little clown.
Oh, you got a visa? Well, I don't care.
Yeah, he can. The visa is not a. They scream about First Amendment rights, but the First Amendment rights are based around the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and that is a United States citizenship thing, not someone rolling in with a visa. You are a guest in our house. You should remember that. Yep. And as a guest in our house, you should remember to follow by our rules. Okay, so here we go. Requirements: must be 18 years old, must be able to read, write, and speak basic English depending on your age. You must be of good moral character. So this is why it takes up to 5 years to go through this process, because during those 5 years, you can't break the law. You're not supposed to break the law. During those 5 years, you're not supposed to go out and create hate and discontent in a college, as and granted, he wasn't even pushing for citizenship. He was just here on a student visa. So that's due process. That's legitimate due process. This crap that we're seeing from these judges and from these courts, that's not due process. That's subverting the system for your narrative. It's subverting the system to keep people here that, quite frankly, if you were asked 9 out of 10 people, 9 out of 10 would say, no, we don't want these people here. These people are criminals. They're doing horrible things. And when you see American citizens suffer for it, and then you see the media and the judicial system, especially these lower level federal courts and these lower level federal judges, well, maybe you should be disbarred because you apparently don't know or understand the way the law actually works. You create a narrative based on your belief of whatever you believe, and this is somehow okay. That's really kind of it in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy that we even have to have these conversations. You know what I mean?
Well, those judges are they're federal judges, but they're district judges. They're not. They have no reach other than beyond their district. So how are they even in this discussion?
Well, I think part of it is because the administration is trying to make sure that they are doing things the right way. That's the first thing. I mean, in all honesty, that's the first thing. I think it's time to stop following the courts that are out there pulling this crap, because you don't have jurisdictional authority. The authority to run is based on the executive branch. And once again, if you need me to read it, I can read it. I actually have it right here. I can't, right there. I've got the Constitution right there. So we can talk about that at great length as far as due process. Federal judges that are in lower courts do not have any authority over the executive branch. I do believe it is time for the president to stop listening to these lower courts because they are acting improper. They're definitely not acting in the best interest of American citizens. And that's another side of this. Their oath of office is to the United States of America. It is not to MS-13 gangbangers, Trinidad Aragua gang members, illegal aliens who come across the border and just make a total mess out of things. You know, that's what this is really about. And it's something that needs to be stopped. There's a couple other things that need to be stopped too. There's a bill that's being pushed through that is pushing to make anti-Semitic comments illegal. I'm against that. Number one, I'm not anti-Semitic. That's not what I believe. But I believe the same thing that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie believe, which is the First Amendment doesn't. The First Amendment is the First Amendment. The First Amendment doesn't say anything about making people feel better. The First Amendment doesn't say, hey, we just need to be this or that or the other. No, the First Amendment is you are allowed to speak your mind because that's what you're allowed to speak. Now, should you think about it before you speak your mind? I think you should.
Mm-hmm.
That said, to have a bill out there that tells you that you cannot make a statement is insanity.
Yeah.
That's censorship. That is not cool. So that's my particular take on that. I want to read a couple of things from Marjorie Taylor Greene because I agree with her. And I'm going to support this with I'm going to start with this here. Let me pull this thing here. See if I got it saved. Probably got it saved. All right. A voter, a patriot, says the following. Dear President Trump, I'm tired of seeing you and your cabinet work 24/7 and Congress only work 5 hours a month. It's absolutely ridiculous. We, the people, are tired of this. And it's a Republican as well as a Democrat thing. We voted for you to serve us in office. So get off your proverbial backsides and get in there and get on the floor and debate and do the things that you need to do to keep our government running and to represent us in a way that matches our values and our positions. That is seriously, that is a huge issue right now. It's completely insane that we have seen the president in the first 100 days have minimum three cabinet meetings. They're all televised. We want to talk about transparency. There's transparency. You want to talk about the rumors that the media throws out there? Well, hey, he's showing you what they're talking about.
And it's
so we're going to go a little over.
Yep.
We're going to go a little over this morning, and then I got to get the hell out of here. I got a gig in Lafayette, so
yeah, I gotta go into work for a little bit at 12:30. So
it's just craziness, right? Okay. This is what Marjorie Taylor Greene posted probably a day or two ago. I gave my vote for a Biden/Democrat funding and policy continuing resolution once because my president asked me to, but I will not do it again. Going forward, earning my vote for funding and policies will be defined by these issues. Number one, I will not vote to fund a single penny or bullet to Ukraine, regardless of a useless mineral deal that the American people do not care about or want. Why write the several hundred billion off as a loss instead of permanently injecting ourselves into a never-ending blank check and geopolitical disaster that the American people do not support or even care about? Haven't enough been slaughtered? Let's mine our own rare earth resources. We are rich, either them and create American jobs. So that's coming from Marjorie Taylor Greene. And it makes perfect sense. Add Iran. Let the countries in that region deal with them as they choose, not America. We have an enemy that has literally been murdering, raping, and stealing from Americans for years. I've never seen a Houthi. I've seen and heard the horror, heartbreak from American families about their family members being murdered by cartels, crimes, and drugs. If we can post on social media that we are going to bomb Iran, why would we hesitate to ask permission from Mexico to take out the organizations that enrich themselves by tens of billions of dollars every year, murder, rape, drug trafficking, human and child sex trafficking? Right. I will not vote on to fund a CDC that keeps the failed and dangerous mRNA COVID vaccine on the childhood vaccine schedule. Aren't children being injected with enough poisons? I will not vote to fund reconciliation and tax laws that raises taxes on hardworking small business owners and does not include the president's tax campaign promises of no tax on tips, overtime, or Social Security. For the love of God, give the American people and those who have suffered and worked the hardest to break. Make the Dodge cuts permanent. This is one of the most important patriotic efforts to gut the bloated and failing federal government of extreme and outrageous corruption, of extreme fraud, waste, and putrid spending. I will not vote for a single penny to fund anything that is involved in the trans agenda and child abusive medical industry that lies to children about their gender and sexuality and performs any level of sex changes on minors. There are only two genders, male and female, created in the image of God. So this is what a congresswoman who I adore has had to say.
Me too.
And I agree with what that person is saying. Enough is enough. We're done with all of it. I don't have a single problem with a person who identifies as whatever they want to identify with. I have a problem with a confused child being coerced and brainwashed into thinking that they are something that they don't even know what the hell they're thinking at this point in time.
A young impressionable mind should not have.
Exactly.
There should be nothing going in any area of that child as far as that kind of stuff goes.
Exactly. All right, y'all. I'm gonna hit the end stream button and hope that it goes automatically to the outro. H, if that's true, post something quickly and let me know. As it is time for us to go. Like I said, I have a gig tonight. I have a lunch date with my daughter. Every one of you people I love my brothers and sisters. I love my brother right there. That will be Dennis.
Right back at you, buddy.
I love my country. God bless you all. God bless the United States of America. And we are out.
God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.